Good morning. Thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Martin Dvořák. I'm a GIS specialist working in the data and analytics department in the city of Brno. And I would like to share with you in the next few minutes our open data approach and how you can use our data and which kind of use cases were built upon on the top of our data sets. Or maybe I use this. Yeah, so I will briefly explain our history, how did we build our open data platform. The main focus is to data.Brno.cz as our open data platform, and I will mention those use cases built upon on the top of our data sets. So I will start in 2015 when city did so-called data audit, which identified more than 700 data sets across city districts, city companies, city departments, which has kind of potential to be published in a newly built open data platform. Our department was established in 2017 with one clear goal to launch and run open data platform. We actually did it a year later, 2018, when we launched the first version of data.Brno.cz, which was built on CCAN as a data storage and WordPress as a front end built on the top of the CCAN. This is how it looked like. This is the CCAN. Maybe some of you know it. And this is the former front end in WordPress. We did it, but we weren't satisfied at all with this solution because it had so many mistakes. One of them is that the CCAN didn't allow the data format conversion. It means that once you upload CSV, it stays CSV, no transformation to shapefile or whatever. There was a poor support of bilinguality. Then it wasn't able to store APIs and provide real-time data there. Maybe some of you noticed that the user experience of the former data catalog was really poor. And moreover, our biggest fault is that we had a really poor data management. We allowed so many city servants, city officers to publish their own data as they wanted to. We had so many publishers with really poor data management, and it resulted that we have more than 300 datasets published just in the first week. And this was a mess. So we had to change our mind, change the solution, and we realized that we want to provide such a more data quality. And after small research, we find a solution which perfectly fits for us. It's based on ArcGIS Hub. It's a proprietary solution, but it's compatible to all GIS solution in the city. And actually, in a few years, we launched the second version on data.Brno.cz. This is how it looked like. It's just normal data portal. The most important part is, of course, the data section. Maybe I will afterwards show you some application as a use cases. And on the bottom, you can just click for some long-term stats, how the city is developed in exact fields. But the most important part is the search bar. And then I will show you what kind of data you can get from our data catalog. If you're searching, for example, for containers for recycling, you just type it to the search bar, and you will get immediately the spatial distribution of those containers in the city. And on the left part, you get all those metadata, for example, where the dataset was updated, when it was released, how many records are there, and for example, licenses, obviously license-free. And yeah, we provide 5 data formats for downloading by default. It's CSV, KML, shapefile, GeoJSON file, geodatabase, and some additional resources I would like to mention for open-minded people. We provide an open geo package as an open data standard. Moreover, and is the probably most important part for every single dataset, we provide API. It means that you can just connect to our dataset through this endpoint. You can query between attributes, and you will get this JSON, and you can just connect it to your software, to your client, to your system as you want to. The maintenance is on our side. You just consume those kind of data. We provide so far 140 datasets, and 90% of them are daily updated. We provide 7 real-time datasets, and yeah, this is the way how we changed our data providing. And after we actually change it, some use cases actually appears. And I would like to introduce a few of them. First one, built on the top of containers of recycling, is the application Kam s ním, which means where you can throw the trash. This application just helps you where to throw various type of trash. And the point is that before we provide APIs to these datasets, the owner of this app has to scrape the data from some view services from our website. Nowadays, he just uses API and connect to our data and consume there. He's happy. We are happy that he used it on this way, because before that, it was kind of a little bit illegal. We have also developed a walking accessibility model that visualizes how long it takes to get to the nearest containers for recyclables. The model contains 3 zones for 1, 2, and 3 minutes, and it's constructed for each type of recyclables, as you can see, such as paper, plastic, textile. The point is that you have immediate overview on the map where are the blank spaces where the waste provider can just put some other containers. For example, of course, you have to combine it with population density, but this is basically what was built up on the top of our open data. Another dataset I would like to mention is the shared micromobility. Those are the parking lots where you can just let your bike, and services like, or businesses like Nextbike or Ricola are consuming our data and just publish in their website. We also provide a 3D model to download in open formats, not only for architects, urban planners, but also, what surprised me, for game developers, because in a hackathon we did on spring, some guys just use our 3D models and build the environment in Minecraft. And I really like this use case, because it also moves the city to, let's say, other dimension, especially for those game developers or who liked Minecraft. Yeah, this is my favorite one. One of the use cases we are most proud of is actually this app that creates an accessibility model of our region by public transit using general transit feed specification. The application is used primarily by traffic planners, and the point is that you can detect places which are more or less served by public transportation system. So in the map, you can see the public transit accessibility. Each color represents a 15-minute zone from the city center by public transit. Yeah, this was built on the top of those GTFS data. Once we publish them, this application was immediately created, and it's built on the top of the timetables, the electronic timetables, and the most important part is that you can see the accessibility in a spatial view, not only in a time, but also in a spatial distribution. Maybe if I will have time at the end, I will show you how you can access this app. In this app, you can see the Brno city separated into the cadastral units, and each unit shows the number of people based on the mobile geolocation data. Nowadays, almost every one of you has a mobile phone with a SIM card inside, which is still connected to the network, so the mobile provider can easily detect you, and then we can count it the number of people in exact areas. Actually, here you can see the typical profile of some residential area of Žebetín. It's the typical profile of a number of present people, where people spend most of the time in this area during the night. During the day, they are going to the city center or to some businesses, and the area is just almost empty. On the other side, here is the typical working area with completely opposite profile of daily presence of people. So this is what we are doing based on those geolocation data. This is the data sets which describes the city council voting. And I would like to mention this kind of data set because in a week we will have a city council election. And we actually released these data sets a year ago, and we hoped that some use cases will be created. And I'm extremely happy that some of them was released just a week ago, which completely describes how politicians voted in this period, and you can you can go through the exact voting points. You can see the absence of politicians, and it's just or it could be a guide for you if you just want to vote for some party or not. Moreover, I'm also pretty happy that our colleagues, or not colleagues, but the media, data rozhlas, which is one of the most trustable media in our country, I would say, also used our data set and creates this article which actually showed the breaking points of where were the most breaking points during the election period, and just describes how coalition voted and how, for example, the coalition broke up during the period. I highly recommend to read. In the very near future, we plan to publish the positional data of our garbage trucks so that navigation companies like Waze or Garmin can display them in their systems. I suppose this will help drivers to save time by avoiding streets with traffic jams caused by garbage trucks, because as you can see, our streets in Brno are pretty long and pretty narrow. So once you enter the street where is the garbage truck, you get immediately stuck. And we just want to provide those kind of data to Waze to help drivers in Brno to just be more prepared and pretend the situation. And finally, in terms of energy or climate crisis, I would like to mention this app, map of photovoltaic potential, which actually visualizes how much sunlight falls across the whole city. And the detailed map allows citizens to identify rooftop potential for installing photovoltaic panels. So if I a little bit zoom in, you can click on an exact building, and you can see how much solar energy is captured per each building, and then it's up to you, up to citizens or politicians, they can just decide if it's feasible for them or not to build a solar panel on the top of the roof. So this is the map or the data sets which we just provide to help citizens to struggle with this present crisis. Similar one is the land surface temperature map. Here you can see the most cool and most hot spot in the city. And based on these data sets, city realized that, or cities just create the zeleň střechám, the greenery for rooftops subsidized grant program, and it's based on these data sets of heat, temperature, or land surface temperature. City created this program to actually help make the city more livable or more comfortable for living, and it resulted already that we have more than 200 records already granted from this city program. Yeah, little summary. So some takeaways. Provide just less data with more quality, focus on data reuse, provide various format types, and follow us on Twitter if you want to. No, I mean, we really try to communicate our data sets or analysis we are publishing, and Twitter works perfectly. There is a pretty good community, data community, and we are building it, I would say, very successfully. That's all from my side. Thank you very much, and looking forward for discussion.